Well, when you think of the theme park wars, you typically think of Disney World versus Universal Studios, at least in the Orlando area. But one thing that is starting to impact theme parks a lot more than people I think anticipated just a few years ago are cruise lines. And we have an article here from The Street that talks about Royal Caribbean setting its sights on Disney World and Universal Studios. So we're going to read through this and give some thoughts on it. So, hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic. And again, this article here says Royal Caribbean sets its sights on Disney World and Universal Studios. Many people who have never cruised don't realize that the family friendly cruise lines have a massive advantage over Disney World and Universal Studios. When you book a theme park vacation, you have three distinct expenses: your hotel or other lodging, your park admission, and food. For a family spending a week at Disney World or Universal Studios, just your theme park admission can cost more than booking a cabin for four on a Royal Caribbean Carnival or MSC cruise ship. At Disney World, a 5-day basic ticket that can be used between September 7th through 14th, one of the cheaper times of the year, costs $541.23. That simple ticket limits you to one Disney park per day. For a family of four, that's a little bit over $2,100, and it assumes two non-park days and a 7-day vacation. The same week at Universal Studios actually costs slightly more per ticket, and a 5-day single park pass will set you back $596 per person, and again, a little bit over $2,300. Royal Caribbean offers a 7-night sailing on Wonder of the Seas, its third newest ship, from Miami, where you can currently book an ocean view cabin for four for $2,700. That's a little more than you would pay just for tickets, no lodging or food for a visit to Disney World or Universal. Booking an interior cabin for a 4-night cruise for two adults and two children from September 9th through 13th will cost you a little bit over $1,400. Compared with the theme parks, that's a great deal given what's included: your cabin plus enormous choices of entertainment and food. And that is one thing that a lot of people have talked about as well, is this: when you go on a cruise, I mean, the food's included. You don't have the additional expense. And one of the downsides, especially when you're talking about Disney World, are the nickel and diming and adding on to your trip. Not as much as Universal. Basically, Universal, you can still pay for the most part all your expenses outside of food before you leave and just go enjoy your trip. But when it comes to Disney, you've got to get, now it's Lightning Lane, you've got to get the individual Lightning lanes, you got to get your virtual queues, all these different things like that. And these things cost money while you're on your trip. Versus you look at a cruise, it's all prepaid. You just go and you just enjoy yourself, and the food and the lodging is included in the price. It says Royal Caribbean sees increased demand. While people have been traveling and spending money, a general economic unease, perhaps because we're in an election year, has pushed consumers toward value. Royal Caribbean Group Chief Executive Jason Liberty has seen several positive signs for his company. Says we continue to see a very positive sentiment from our customers, bolstered by a resilient economy. Consumer preference continues to shift toward spending on experiences, particularly prioritizing toward travel. Liberty also noted another reason he remains bullish on Royal Caribbean's prospects. Consumers have 10% more vacation days compared to 2019, and they're using half of that increase to travel, he added. In fact, our research suggests consumers are spending more on travel than any other leisure category, and they intend to increase their travel spend in the next 12 months. Cruise remains an attractive value proposition, and cruise purchase intent is high and continues to strengthen, and consumer financials remain healthy across demographics. Traditionally, cruise lines have used their newest ships for 7-day cruises. By offering shorter cruises on its newest ship, Royal Caribbean sacrifices revenue in the short term in the interest of attracting new cruisers and turning them into long-term customers. Our short-term Caribbean cruise product is an important entry point for new to cruise and new to brand, with nearly 7 in 10 guests following in these categories and always skewing more toward younger customers. Younger customers find this product particularly appealing. In fact, approximately 40% of customers who follow in this demographic have indicated that they intend to book a short vacation in the next 12 months. The rate of return on these customers has been very high. Moreover, 90% of guests who sail on the short product intend to cruise again, with roughly half planning to return for a longer cruise. I think it's just a reality that there's still a 20% value gap to land-based vacations, and you get a lot of bang for your buck when you're traveling with our brands. So that's a long way of saying in this article that cruising is definitely a major threat when it comes to theme parks, because theme parks obviously have become more expensive, as everything else has. And while they've become more expensive, they've also get more complicated. It's particularly when you talk about Disney World, and it's a lot of the nickel and diming. And when you're going, it's a stressful vacation. I don't think going to Disney World, and my wife and I were talking about this the other day. We went to both Disney World and Universal Studios, And going to Universal Studios is just much more relaxing. You can just walk in and you just go. You can enjoy yourself and you don't have to book stuff. You just do it. When it comes to Disney, there's a lot more hoops you got to jump through. And I can't even imagine somebody who's never been before trying to figure out all this stuff as they go. And it just makes for a very intense and non-relaxing vacation, to say the least, versus cruising, where maybe you pay a little bit more upfront than you would on, say, a Disney World or Universal trip, but you can actually relax. The food is included. There's a lot of activities on these ships. Some of these ships are floating cities. They have all this stuff that's included on the ship. You can do excursions off the ship. You could just stay on the ship and do a lot of stuff. They have entertainment. So again, a lot of this come down to what type of trip people want to take. And I think a lot of times, and we've heard from some people when they go to, say, Disney World, it's so stressful. They're on their phone all the time. They didn't get to relax. They didn't know if it was worth it. Going on a cruise has become an alternative for a lot of people. And a lot of, again, I think the customer satisfaction rate is a lot higher on cruises for that reason. Now, to be fair, Disney does have their own cruise line and it does very well. And a lot of people, again, have been going on Disney cruise lines versus going to, say, Disney World, because the experience on the cruise ships is so much better. So I think going forward, cruising is going to continue to be a threat to theme parks, just given the nature of the vacations. Like, theme parks are not as much of a leisure thing as going on a cruise, just relaxing on a ship, swimming, whatever. Like, you can go on a cruise, shut your brain off, and just enjoy the trip much more than you can a theme park. But one thing I won't be surprised by is if Universal also gets into the cruise line business, which I think they probably will, because I think Disney has proven their cruise line, while more expensive, has been profitable and successful for them. I think Universal, in the same way, could also offer a cruise line, I'm sure, with a partner on some level, and get into this industry. Because again, if it's a threat to the theme park industry, if they can get in on it, then they will also, they'll be able to benefit both from theme parks and cruising. Now, in terms of this, obviously would impact Royal Caribbean and Carnival and the other ones. So I imagine you will probably start seeing, if, let's say, Universal does get into the cruise industry, a lot more competitive pricing to get your attention. And again, because it's such a threat to theme parks, this makes logical sense that they would do this and be a thing going forward again. So I'm sure this is only going to continue to grow in terms of competition for theme parks and, your money and attention when it comes to your vacation. But I thought this was just an interesting article to take a look at, and one that's not too surprising. But again, when you break out the economics of it and you're wanting to get a lot of value out of your vacation, a cruise is definitely one that would come to mind. And I think also you add in the leisure activities of it compared to, say, theme parks, it would make a lot of sense if that's what you're looking for on a vacation. But that's going to be it for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about all this? And do you think cruising is a legitimate threat to theme parks? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.